Captain FeatherSword's birthday was coming up on the next day, and the Lioness Bunch were all getting ready for the Friendly Pirate's birthday party. The Wiggles had asked the Queen of Lions if they could celebrate his birthday at the mansion, to which she said that it was all right. Drew Pickles, with the members of the Lioness Bunch, were getting the mansion set up and decorated for the party. Even Wags the dog, Henry the octopus, and Dorothy the dinosaur were there as well.
This party is gonna be super swell, don't you think?
Drew Pickles asked Greg. It sure will be, Drew Pickles. Clementine, Louis, and AJ with Violet will be here as well, Greg replied. Just as he turned to the kitchen, Anthony was eating some of the chips that they were there for the party. Anthony, slow down on the eating, Greg exclaimed. Why, Greg? I love party snacks, Anthony replied. I know you do, but those chips and the other snacks are for the party tomorrow, Greg stated.
Greg, that's right, Anthony. At least you're improving on not eating the whole kitchen like last year. Last year, you ate the whole cake and half of the ice cream at the party in Captain FeatherSword's boat.
Drew Pickles added, That was because I was super hungry. I had to chase Wario when he stole my cookies, Anthony explained. I remember that. I hope that prankster keeps his greedy hands to himself. I sure don't want to deal with him again, Murray sighed, remembering last year's birthday party they threw for the captain, with Wario pranking people. That won't happen this year, as Mario said he will keep a close eye on him, Anthony said, just as Clementine, Louis, Violet, and AJ knocked on the door.
Good. Louis, Clementine, Violet, and AJ are here. Hope you're doing very swell.
Drew Pickles greeted his friends at the door. Then he invited them inside the mansion. Hey, Drew Pickles. It's great to see you and the Lioness Bunch members here, Clementine replied, giving Drew Pickles a hug. Is Lily coming to the party? Greg asked. Yeah, she's the captain's girlfriend, Louis answered. Why wouldn't she come here? If it was the Barney Bunch NSFW party, she wouldn't come, Murray stated.
Oh God, those members of the Barney Bunch are a bunch of sick folks. They also raided Wags' House of Food last year, as they were having a super swell NSFW party.
Drew Pickles sighed in frustration. I know who they are. There's also the gay version of Greg, Anthony, Murray, and Jeff, Louis said. They're a bunch of sick... Just as Louis was about to say the magic word, Clementine covered his mouth with her hand. I wouldn't say that, Louis. Remember what you said back at Erickson? Clementine reminded Louis. Yeah, like that time was no fun, Violet stated, but she stifled a few laughs. Now it's funny. Hey, my ass started hurting for a week after that swell time with Drew Pickles' gay counterpart with Barney's gay counterpart, Louis said. Luckily for us, Barney Bunch Drew Pickles isn't getting here, Greg replied. That's right. The Queen of Lions and Boris Anderson put up security cameras all over the place, so he has no way in, Murray added. As Clementine, Violet, Louis, and AJ walked inside the mansion, Jeff was always asleep as always on one of the chairs. Shaggy and Scooby could see that Jeff was asleep, and they needed his help with Greg, Anthony, and Murray on blowing up the balloons. Look like Greg, Jeff is asleep again, Shaggy said. Oh man, we gotta get Jeff up. We need his help on blowing the balloons, Anthony sighed. 1, 2, 3. Wake up, Jeff! Greg, Murray, Anthony, Shaggy, and Scooby said it at the same time, waking Jeff up. Oh, you guys, what did you need me for? Jeff asked. We need help with the balloons and streamers, Murray said. Like, yeah, you can't be sleeping on the job, Shaggy stated. Rah! Scooby chirped in. Alright, someone pass me some coffee to wake up, Jeff said. Drew Pickles then handed Jeff a mug of coffee. Thanks, Drew Pickles. This coffee will keep me awake.
Yes, it sure will, Jeff. As coffee to drink to wake up is super swell. Although it may have caffeine in it, it is still good to drink it to keep you awake.
Drew Pickles replied, AJ, why don't we go hang up this sign right here? Clementine suggested, holding up the Happy Birthday Captain FeatherSword's sign to show AJ what sign she means, which was painted by the Queen of Lions. Sounds good, Clem. Hey, Louis, what are you and Violet going to do? AJ asked. Me and Vi are going to get the streamers hanged up. Call us if you need us, Louis replied, as AJ and Clementine walked out of the mansion. Once Clementine and AJ were outside of the front door, they both got hammers, nails, and a stepladder for each to hang up the sign. As Clementine was hanging the sign with AJ's help, AJ turned to his right to see something with a large blue oval-like shape. He couldn't tell what it was, but he focused his attention on Clementine as he helped her with the birthday sign. There, AJ, it wasn't hard at all, Clementine said, as she and AJ hammered the sign in front of the mansion near the door. Hey, Clem, look what I found in the big bushes in the front garden, AJ said, as he got down from the stepladder. Once he was on the ground, he headed towards the right of the garden to see the blue oval-like shape. AJ picked up the object and held it in front of him. It was an egg. It was a blue egg with purple spots on it. What kind of egg is it? But of course, that was something that was not there before. But of course, they were quite confused. What kind of egg is it? Clementine asked, as she got closer to look at the egg with AJ. I'm not sure. It's not an egg from any bird we know of, AJ said. Then Clementine examined the egg. It's definitely not any bird we know of. I wouldn't say it was an ostrich egg, but their eggs aren't blue with purple spots, Clementine replied. Maybe it's a dinosaur egg? AJ asked. AJ, dinosaurs don't exist since they're extinct. So there's no way it would be a dinosaur egg. Clementine chuckled at AJ's question. Well, let's take this inside and see what our friends think. As Clementine and AJ carried the egg inside, Drew Pickles with the Wiggles, Louis, Violet, and the Queen of Lions were there, and the other members such as Space Voyager 1701, Zack the Zeltix guy, the Shadow Reader, Dorothy, Henry, and Wags were all there as well. What side do you have there, Clementine? Louis asked. I could sure for say it's not any egg from any bird we know of, Violet replied. I found it in the garden, and we want to know what kind of egg is it, Clementine said. The Wiggles then examined the egg with their friends. I've never seen this egg before, Henry said. It doesn't look like a dinosaur egg. I am a dinosaur, yes, but this is not a dinosaur egg, Dorothy added. Dogs don't lay eggs, so I know it's not a dog's egg, Wags said. Well, what egg is it? AJ asked.
I think Mr. Ink might have the answer to it. I'll go take it to them so they can examine it. I hope they can identify the egg.
Drew Pickles suggested. I've never seen that kind of an egg before. It's something I wasn't expecting AJ to find, the Queen of Lions said. I know it's not the Dreammaker's egg. It has stripes, as the one AJ found has spots, Space Voyager added. Maybe we'll wait till it hatches to find out what it is. I sure hope it isn't a dinosaur, Shadow Reader said. A dinosaur would be too big to fit in this room, Jeff replied. Yeah, and plus they don't exist anymore, Shadow Reader stated. I wonder what creature it is, Zack wondered. Well, we'll have to wait and see what Mystery Inc. thinks it is, Clementine replied. Then she and AJ headed for the living room to relax. While they were relaxed on the couch, they saw the front door was being reopened by someone. It was Lily. She walked inside with gifts for her boyfriend and headed for the living room. Lily, how did you get in the door without keys? Clementine asked in surprise. I used a spare key from the mat the Queen of Lions hides. She trusts me, Lily replied. She placed the presents with the other gifts in the right corner of the living room. Lily, we're so glad you're here. AJ and Clementine found an egg in the front yard of the mansion, Murray said. Really? That is something you don't hear every day. What kind of egg is it? Lily asked. It's not a bird's egg or a dinosaur egg, and it's certainly not an ostrich egg, Greg replied. Where is this egg that you guys are speaking of? I can have a peek if I know where it is, Lily asked about the egg. Drew Pickles took it upstairs to see what Mystery Inc. thinks, Velma's a smart one, so she might be able to figure out what it is, Anthony answered. How big is the egg? Lily asked. It's about the size of a soccer ball, AJ answered. I think it's a griffin egg or a dragon's egg, possibly, Clementine suggested. Drew Pickles then came downstairs with the blue egg. So, Drew, did Velma and Mystery Inc. figure out what type of egg we have here?
Mystery Inc. used everything they had to see what type of egg it is, but Velma says that they have no idea in what kind of egg it is.
Drew Pickles replied. I think it's either a dragon egg or a griffin egg, Lily suggested. Those are good possibilities, Lily. We will need to see who can help us with this question, AJ said. My boyfriend, Captain FeatherSword's, may have an idea what type of egg it is, Lily suggests the idea. Let's go to his pirate ship. He may have a clue on what it is. I think Lily's right on it being a griffin egg or a dragon egg, Murray said. Well, we'll ask him that. Me, AJ, Lily, and Drew Pickles can go and see Captain FeatherSword's. Hopefully, he has an idea on what kind of egg it is, Clementine said her idea.
That sounds like a super swell idea, Clementine. See you Wiggles in a while.
Drew Pickles replied, as he, Clementine, AJ, and Lily left the Linus Bunch mansion to see Captain FeatherSword's on his pirate ship. Meanwhile, at the SSS FeatherSword's, Captain FeatherSword's was thinking of what vest to wear. He has so many vests in the color red, but he didn't know which vest to wear for the party. As soon as Lily, Drew Pickles, Clementine, and AJ were aboard the ship, Captain FeatherSword's turned around to see his girlfriend with her friends on board. Ahoy there, me hearties! What's got you here there? Here, I see, Captain FeatherSword's asked, seeing the egg in Clementine's hands. It's a large egg. AJ and I found it by the Linus Bunch mansion near the front garden, Clementine replied. Well, blow me down, Captain FeatherSword's said in amazement about the egg. As soon as he said blow me down, Clementine, Lily, AJ, and Drew Pickles blew so hard that the captain fell to the ground.
Sorry, Captain. We can't help but blow you down,
Drew Pickles said. I'm okay, Drew. You said it about an egg? Captain FeatherSword's asked, as Drew Pickles helped him up. Yes, we did, and we're not sure what kind of egg it is, Clementine said. Lily thinks it's a dragon egg or a griffin egg. Let me see the egg, Captain FeatherSword's said. Clementine then handed the egg to the captain as he examined the egg. It isn't a bird's egg, I could definitely tell you that. What kind of egg is it? Lily asked. Well, there is only one way to find out. We have to wait till the egg hatches, Captain FeatherSword's said. But this egg, if it came from a nest, we'll have to return the egg to its parents. Do eggs have parents? AJ asked. Of course they do, AJ. Like Mom, we have mommies and daddies. Eggs have parents too, Clementine explained.
Why don't we go and find out what nest the egg belongs to?
Drew Pickles said. Let's do that, Drew Pickles me hearty. I like the idea, Captain FeatherSword's replied. I think we should see if the egg belongs to some... Before Captain FeatherSword's could finish his sentence, something ran super fast like Sonic, snatched the egg from the captain's hands. Captain, someone snatched up the egg, Clementine said in surprise. Who snatched the egg? Lily asked, sounding annoyed. I think I know. That was Stan Woozle. He's one of Pooh's enemies, AJ said. How do you know it's him, AJ? Drew Pickles asked. Well, because last year, Stan stole old Clementine's hat during the 4th of July, and we had to go on an adventure to get it back, AJ replied. Well, let's go after him so we can get going if we want to have that egg back, Lily said. Well said, my love. Let's go after the egg, Captain FeatherSword's said, as he, Lily, AJ, Clementine, and Drew Pickles hopped into the SS FeatherSword's car and drove after Stan Woozle. As Stan Woozle was running off with the egg in hand, he was laughing as loud as a hyena. He was near to keeping the egg for himself. Captain FeatherSword's and his friends were still on his tail, though. After a few minutes, Stan Woozle ran out of sight by running off into the bushes. No one could see him, as the trees were very thick. Where could Stan Woozle be? AJ wondered. I have no idea. The trees are so thick that I can't see a thing in the trees, Captain FeatherSword's answered.
Stan Woozle must have strayed off of the path in the woods. I think I may have an idea on where he could be with the egg.
Drew Pickles said, "Do you, Drew, know where he's heading with the egg?" Clementine asked.
He has a hideout in a mountain, so we would have to go there to find him.
Drew Pickles replied, "I'll put a bullet through his throat when I find him. He's pissed me off as it already is." Lily growled as she loaded up her hunting rifle. "Let's head for the mountains," AJ exclaimed as his friend drove the SS Feathersword car through the woods. As they were in the woods, Captain Feathersword stopped at the car suddenly, causing everyone to jolt to a sudden stop. "Captain Feathersword, what was that for?" Lily asked. "You nearly gave me a heart attack." "I see a sign, me hearty. A sign to Stan Woozle's hideout. We have to turn right," Captain Feathersword said, pointing at the sign in front of him. "This path doesn't seem to be flat enough for the SS Feathersword car. Looks like we're walking," Clementine said, getting out of the car of the woods as everyone else did the same. While they were walking through the woods, they discovered a stream with an old rotting bridge lying across it. "We better be careful here, me hearties. That bridge's wood is rotten, and it could break at any moment," Captain Feathersword advised. "I'll go first, then Clementine, then Drew Pickles, Lily, and Captain Feathersword. That way, if any of us fall, we can save each other," AJ suggested. "Good plan, AJ. You go ahead," Clementine said, as AJ walked across the bridge, despite the wood being rotting and looking like it could break at any moment. But when it held out fine, Clementine then walked across the bridge, then Drew Pickles, Lily, and Captain Feathersword walked across. However, as he was halfway across the stream, the bridge started to crack under his weight. Captain Feathersword froze in fear, and seeing that the bridge could break any moment. "I think the captain froze in fear," Clementine said, resulting in Lily to fetch him. As the bridge cracked more under her weight, Lily had the strength to pull the captain across the bridge. As she did that, the captain snapped out of his trance and turned his attention to his friends. "What happened there, me hearty?" Captain Feathersword asked. "You froze in fear when the bridge cracked under your weight," AJ said. "Lily saved you, though. I have no clue on how strong she got to pull you like that," Clementine added. "I guess I'm strong, evil, lover, pirate," Lily chuckled, helping Captain Feathersword up. "Now let's keep moving. We have a woozle to catch." Lily and her friends continued down the path to Stan Woozle's hideout. They soon came across a huge beast of the forest. It was a werewolf, standing about 7 feet tall, and it was snarling at the group. "A werewolf. Those things are big and scary," Captain Feathersword said, stepping away from the werewolf. "Stay back. This could get messy," Lily said, as she pointed her hunting rifle at the werewolf. Clementine got out her axe and stared at the werewolf. It growled before letting out a howl. "This is one angry werewolf, unlike any other wolf I've seen," Clementine muttered. "Yeah, and it's no Halloween costume," Lily added. As the girls loaded up their guns, they also pointed the guns at the werewolf. The werewolf looked in horror to see the girls were scarier than he was. And seeing that he was outnumbered because of AJ, Drew Pickles, and Captain Feathersword, seeing that the werewolf was outnumbered, Lily fired a shot just a couple inches from the werewolf's head, which just got enough to scare the creature away. "Wow, I guess what a chicken that werewolf is. I thought he was going to fight us," AJ said.
"I guess he knew that he would never mess with me being the swellest man in the universe,"
Drew Pickles added. "What a chicken that werewolf is. At least he's gone," Clementine said. Then she and her friends continued on their way to Stan Woozle's hideout. They approached the stairs upwards towards the mountains, and they could see Stan's hideout was just at the top of the stairs. "Here it is, me hearties. We have a lot of stairs to climb," Captain Feathersword said as he looked up the top of the stairs, and there were indeed a lot of stairs. "This was at the most stairs I've ever seen. It's like a never-ending staircase," AJ said.
"You'll be right there, AJ. If we want that egg back, we'll have to climb those stairs,"
Drew Pickles replied. "It looks like it'll take forever to get up here," Clementine complained. "Well, like who knows how long it'll take for all of us to get up there," Lily added. "I think I may have an idea, me hearties," Captain Feathersword said. Then he thought of an idea they could try. "Why don't we blow ourselves up to the top of the stairs?" "Oh, I haven't thought of that, Captain. I guess we could all try it," Clementine replied, liking the idea. will blow us to the top of the stairs, Captain FeatherSword's said. Then he, along with Clementine, AJ, Lily, and Drew Pickles, all blew at the ground so hard that they were blown up to the top of the stairs. By the time they got up to the top of the stairs of Stan Woozle's hideout, it was just right in front of them. Drew Pickles got up with AJ, Clem, Lily, and Captain FeatherSword just to see Stan Woozle, his hideout in the entrance in front of them. Here we are, at Stan Woozle's hideout. Where is that weasel? Clementine wondered. He's most likely in that cave, Clem. Let's go and get him, Lily said, as she and her friends headed inside the cave. Meanwhile in the cave, Stan Woozle had the egg placed in with the best of leaves. He was so happy that he snatched the egg from the captain, and he had the egg to himself. Proud of his victory, he sat down on his bed to read a magazine. I got the egg from that captain with a feather sword. He won't find me with his crew, Stan said, chuckling to himself. Not anymore. You should have rephrased that, Stan Woozle, Clementine said, staring at Stan Woozle. He then looked from his magazine to see who he was followed, not just by Clementine and AJ. Drew Pickles, Captain FeatherSword, and Lily joined them. Oh, God! Clementine, what are you and your friends doing here? Stan asked in surprise. You stole that egg from me, you scallywag, Captain FeatherSword said, crossing his arms.